Okay, everybody. Well, welcome to the maWebCenters weekly webinar series. Happy New Year to everybody. This is the first webinar of 2014, and I'm really excited to be talking about one of my favorite topics, which is social media. You guys, social media obviously is just taking the world by storm. It's the new way that people communicate. It's really nothing more than word of mouth advertising and kind of like having access to your friends, family, and colleagues 24/7. Just think about yourself. Think about how do you pass time if you're waiting in the doctor's office, or when you're trying to just kind of distract yourself when you should be working, things like that. You scroll through timelines and news feeds and whatever, and you stay so connected. It's just amazing. I had my high school 10-year reunion 2 years ago, and it was weird because I grew up in New Jersey and my husband grew up in Massachusetts, and we currently live in Massachusetts. So when I went to the high school reunion, it was just so bizarre because all of my old friends from high school knew my husband's name before they even met him. They were like, "Oh, hi Ryan, it's nice to actually meet you face to face." And that kind of says a really loud statement if you think about it. He didn't grow up there and I live pretty far away. I don't stay as in touch with my old high school friends as maybe I should, or as much as I'd like to. But the fact that they knew his name is very profound. They knew his name because of what? Because of Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. They know the connection. They see the pictures. So it feels like we're part of each other's lives on a day-to-day basis, even though we're not like physically part of each other's lives on a day-to-day basis. And recently, Ryan just went to a 15-year reunion a few weeks ago for his high school, and I wasn't able to make it. And I never actually attended any of his high school reunions because it just, he didn't go to his 10 year and he went to the 15 year and we just weren't able to swing it. So but when he got home, he said, "It's just so weird. Like nobody's ever met you, but everybody was saying, 'Hey, where's Sarah Rose?'" And again, it's just another testament. It's so weird, whether you keep in touch with people, and you get to have that FaceTime and see them on a day-to-day basis. We're surely connected, and it's all because of social media. So social media is officially part of your everyday life. It's how people communicate. It's how businesses communicate with potential candidates and clients and customers. It's how friends communicate amongst each other. People share stories on Facebook all the time when they get new things, when they get a promotion, when they start a business, if they like a product, if they booked a ticket on an airline and they had a great experience, or if they had a bad experience, right? These are things that we post about every day. So the trick is this: how do we turn this ginormous like communication opportunity, right? This great potential. How do we turn that into a business energy, right? How do we capitalize or monetize this really big opportunity that we have? And that's a lot about what I'd like to talk about tonight. So, because if you are going to be on social media, which I'm pretty sure that if you're on tonight's webinar and you figured this out, that you've probably figured out at least Facebook at this point, which is great. If you are going to be on social media, how can you use that to your advantage to build your business, your web center business, and your own franchise? Because, there's a right way to do social media, and then there's a not so great way to do social media. There's some really awesome do's and don'ts. And I'm not necessarily going to go through those so much today as I am going to go through different platforms and what I recommend that you do specifically to help you retail website appointments. Using these platforms. So tonight, here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to go through a basic overview of social media. If you want to see statistics, if you're a numbers kind of a person, I'm going to share those with you tonight. But, the two simple stories I shared this morning should be meaning enough or proof enough to know that, yeah, social media is a big deal. And we are a social shopping company. Shop.com is leading the way in social shopping, and it used to be just one-to-one marketing, and now it's still one-to-one marketing, but now we have this catalyst for that. You've got this huge ocean where you can fish for great candidates, and qualify them, and set up one-on-ones and get and have that. You still want to do the one-to-one marketing. Social media is just a way for you to get to more people. So we're going to talk about online personal branding, the importance of having a profile that is effective, your goals and the rules for personal profiles. Okay. We will briefly touch on having a business page for your web center business if you want one, but I'm not going to get too far into it. And here's why: we have a lot to manage already. I personally do have one for my web center business, and I don't use it as much as I should. But the thing is I don't really find that I'm needing to. I'm finding that by having an effective online personal page and by branding myself as an entrepreneur and as an internet entrepreneur and as someone that, my lifestyle and all that stuff, I have people asking me questions all the time. And, I'd rather have people asking me questions about what I do and, or asking me if I still do websites. I'd rather have that scenario than me trying to just like slam people with advertisements and things that I do any day of the week. So, I think that, 80% of us can handle personally branding ourselves on Facebook and doing that well. And if we can do that well, and we can duplicate that in our organization, we're going to see some massive results. All right, so we're going to talk about your online presence with regard to Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, LinkedIn, and a blog. I'm going to give you some ideas for where to find some good content that you can share on these platforms, and then how to tie that back to other options to tie the deal. Whether it's should they email you? How do you follow up to then turn it into an appointment? Or maybe you have a distributor recruiting site, your own personal website where you can send them to check out more information. Right? We're going to finish up by saying, what about social media and your website clients? How are we supporting them? World Conference is right around the corner. You guys are going to be blown away by all of the new support that we're offering and upgrades that we're doing and so much stuff. But I do want to let you know that not we do give and practice what we preach. Yes, web center owners should be using social media and we should be using it a certain way, but we also believe that it's not about having a good website. It's about having an effective online marketing strategy. And social media is absolutely part of having an effective online marketing strategy. So, we do have a strategy for social media and your website clients as well. And then we'll just wrap it up and summarize. All right, so let's get right into it, guys. I hope you're excited. All right, some basic stats. 62% of adults worldwide now use social media. It is the most popular online activity. That is huge. So if 62% of adults worldwide are using social media, does that ring a bell for you, right? Think about it. Think about who are your website candidates, right? They're people. They're not businesses, right? They're not just arbitrary buildings with businesses inside them, but people own these things. So people are on social media. Your potential clients are on social media, right? Who do you do business with? Who do you know that owns a business? Who do you know that works for a small business? All of these people are using social media. So how can you communicate with them and make that a strategy for setting appointments for yourself? 79% of online shoppers spend 50% of their online shopping time researching products. Interesting. Researching products, not just on Google or on product websites, but consumer reviews are a huge part of that. So where do you think they do that? Think about this. Right now, there's a little bit of a shift going on, I think, in North America for smartphones, right? Samsung is really kind of gaining traction on Apple. And so I see it almost every day. I'm going to get a new phone. Should I do the iPhone 5S or should I do, the whatever Samsung Galaxy, whatever they are? I'm not really familiar with all the other smartphones, but people ask that all the time, and they want opinions. So that matters for you. It matters for your clients, right? 53% of social media people follow a brand. Interesting, right? So they're following brands online. 47% of the acquired new customers online via Twitter. You guys, I'm going to share some little secrets of things that I do with Twitter to help like meet new website candidates later. But what you should know is that with social media, communicating on Twitter or Facebook or especially LinkedIn, when you're using these platforms, it's not abnormal to talk about business. It is not abnormal to talk about products. It is not abnormal to network, right? These are things that people do and expect to do on these platforms all the time. So it's really, really a great opportunity for you. Social commerce sales are expected to climb 14.35 billion in 2013, which we have, and 30 billion in 2015. That's awesome. 167 million people will shop online this year. 192 million by 2016, spending an average of $1,800 per person per year. 40% of Twitter users regularly search products via Twitter. Again, all of this matters, all right? Think about this. If people are looking for a new website provider or a website designer, What are some things that they might do? They might ask for opinions. They might ask their friends on Facebook, have you tried this, that, or the other thing? I've actually scheduled appointments because people have been searching for that product on Facebook. Case in point, one of my friends started a Mommy and Me music school where you can take classes, private lessons on your own as a student or an adult, or you could do like a mommy baby like music class thing. It wasn't the Music Together, that's like a franchise, but it was something cool. And anyway, it was a new business and she was really excited about it. And she said, look, I'm looking to start, my business at such and such time, and I'm going to be building a website. Has anybody had experience with WordPress, GoDaddy, or One and One? And it was so awesome because these are the people or the companies that people think are our competitors, but they're just not even close. They're so completely far off from what we offer. We just totally blow them out of the water in terms of service and what we include at no additional cost. These companies nickel and dime their clients, provide a horrible support system, and a lot of it is left up to trial and error for the business owner. Most business owners are not web developers. Most business owners don't want to trial and error their way through a website, so and have to read through forums for support. So I know all of these things, but what's really interesting is that when I read through the thread of comments left by other people, it was all things like, oh, don't do WordPress because X, Y, and Z. Don't do GoDaddy. Their system is so difficult to navigate and no one ever answers the phone that can help you. Don't do one-on-one. I thought I was only going to be spending $5.95 a month and it turned out to be more like $80 a month. It was all this crazy stuff. And at the very end, I said, hey, Anna, I'm so happy to hear that you're starting your own business. When did you start thinking of this? It's really interesting. I didn't comment on her thing and say, you should go through me. I just got her talking a little bit more, right? I asked her an open-ended question. She starts talking to me and she goes, wait a minute, don't you do websites? I said, yeah, I totally do. And, we actually typically, and 100% of the time really, use a really great system for building our websites because it's not just a website, but it consolidates your entire online marketing strategy. I can get you some more information if you want. When are you free to do an appointment? So I assumed the appointment. I didn't say, when would you like to get together for me? I said, when are you free for an appointment? A little bit of psychological like things kind of going on there to get her to commit. Anyway, we do the appointment. It's great. She's a website client now, and it's just one of those things. But it starts by somebody being on Twitter or on Facebook and asking for opinions on certain products or researching certain products this way. That's what they're really doing when they're asking, have you had any experience with WordPress or GoDaddy or One and One or XYZ company, right? They're researching a product and they want to know what consumers think about that product more than what the company says about their product. So, these customer reviews that exist on social media are so much more like organic than the ones that you read on a customer's website, right? Because or on a business's website, excuse me, because when you go to a business website and you're reading testimonials, a lot of times it's the ones that they've hand selected that they want you to read, right? So people use social media to research products. Keep that in mind. 32% of consumers have purchased product online because of info found on Twitter. Like I just said, 60% are willing to post products on Facebook to get the special dealer discount. Interesting. 63% of shoppers enjoy sharing and want to share about their purchases. Think about your newsfeed today. How many times, especially with the new year, right? Have you seen like new cars being posted, new home being posted, new outfits being posted, new shoes being posted, new whatever, right? All of these things happen every single day. So it can have an impact on how we do business. A couple more quick stats. 56% of people have used social media to spy on partners. Interesting, right? It's really, really interesting, you guys. You may think that you post something and if you only get like, I don't know, like 10 likes or something, you think, oh, only 10 people liked or saw this. The people that are spying on you the most are not the ones that are liking it. Those are the ones that don't say anything. They're just watching what you do. So keep that in mind, right? If you're trying to brand yourself as an entrepreneur, as a mogul, as whatever you are trying to brand yourself as, is the content that you're posting on your platforms, in alignment with that? Or is it contradicting to what you're trying to brand yourself as? You have to keep that in mind. Um, you know, uh, listen, I'm all about having a good time and I'm all about it. Like, trust me, I think it's great, and you should post things like when you're out with your business partners or you're out having a good time. That's great. But nobody needs to see anything past 3 o'clock in the morning. So clean up your profiles. Your profile is a representation of you. And listen, you want to be, we'll talk more about this in a little bit, but just keep in mind that people are watching you. And as a business owner, as a web center owner, as an unfranchised owner, as a whatever you want to brand yourself as, everything plays into that. You can't say that you're, this, that, and the other thing, but you're posting pictures of yourself like, doing losery things. All right. So just keep that in mind. Um, I've heard contradicting stories about the IRS tracking you and what you're doing through social media. So always be working. I've heard contradicting things on that. So I'm just going to skip over that stat. On Twitter, we get excited if someone follows us. In real life, it scares us. That's true. Women behave more cautiously than men on social media. Everything that I put on my social media is totally calculated, right? I don't post things just to post things. I post things because I want people to ask me questions. I want people that are my friends or colleagues or old friends from school or whatever to see them, and I want them to go, what is she doing? You know what I mean? It's a lifestyle thing, right? I talk about business like 20% of the time, and 80% of what you see on my profile is all lifestyle stuff, and that's on purpose. I'm not doing it because I'm not, proud of the business. I am so proud of my business. I love being an unfranchised owner. I love being a web center owner. But I also know that, we do this business to have a life, and that the business isn't what defines us. The business is, for me, it's the catalyst for me to get what I want. And what I want is time. And what I want is to be able to still teach dance and enjoy it and not be sad because I don't have enough money, and to take care of my family, and, to do all the things that I want to do. Those are the reasons why we do the business. And those are the kinds of things that are going to attract people to want to do the business with you. I love being prospected so that I don't have to do all the prospecting. So keep that in mind. You want to calculate. You want to be a little bit of a woman when it comes to choosing what you're going to post. So what is the goal here? The goal with social media is to generate interest and start conversations, right? The goal is not for you to mass message and mass advertise to your friends list. That is really obnoxious. My number one rule when it comes to posting on social media is this. If you were scrolling down your timeline or down your news feed, and you saw something that seemed weird or that was like awkward and salesy, you probably skip right over it, right? So if you would skip right over it in your newsfeed, it's a general, rule of thumb that so will other people. So I want you to keep that in mind. I want you to think like a consumer. What do you like to see? What do you like to read about? What do you like to experience when you're going through your newsfeed? And then are the things that you're posting the kinds of things that you'd like to read about, the kinds of things that you'd like to see? If the answer is yeah, go for it. If the answer is nope, this is definitely weird, I would totally skip it. And but just keep that in mind when you're choosing. So what I want you to do is be listening. Okay. So the other thing is this. It's not just about what you post. It's about what you respond to, right? So if excuse me, I'm getting all excited about this. I love it. There's so much opportunity that we leave on the table because we're not using social media to its fullest potential. But just think about it, right? If all you're thinking about is what you're going to post and what you're going to, mass plaster all over your profile because you think people are going to ask you questions, you're missing the main point. Is it not more effective to just scroll through your news feed and look for people to start conversations with based on what they're posting, right? First of all, you're showing them that you're interested in them, and that's a big deal. So make sure you're listening, okay? So generate interest and start conversations. This is what people look like offline. I can't even tell you how funny this is, but we had some friends over, the Jodwins. We love them. We're good friends with them, whatever. And at some point, every time we hang out, everybody's on their phone, for 10 minutes. And then we all laugh at ourselves and we're like, okay, phone's in the center. We're playing a game or we're watching a movie or whatever. But this is literally what people look like. When I go out to eat, we literally have to throw our phones, literally in the bread basket so that no one is all over their phones because it's so rude. People don't talk anymore. But unless you're showing people pictures on your phone or something like that, it's just interesting. People socialize online, I feel like, more than they do in person. All right. So a couple of rules about this. Social media is word of mouth advertising, right? So think about this. When you're talking to website prospects and they say, "Oh, well, I get all my business, through word of mouth." You could say, "That's excellent. Are you guys on social media?" Right? What a great follow-up question. They would say, "No, we get our business through social word of mouth." And you say, "Wow, well, that's like the main way that people, you know, do word of mouth advertising now. It's a free platform, and people just talk about and recommend products and services on social media all the time. So do you guys have, a strategy for using social media with your business so that you can, increase your word of mouth advertising? Does that make sense, you guys? Like, always respond to the question or the objection that you hear. So if the objection is word of mouth advertising, that's what I would recommend that you say. And then of course the entire strategy is great. Social media is great. You can recommend and share products and services, but how do you close the deal? Do you have a website? Right? It all comes full circle from there. People share what they like, they share what they don't like. Keep that in mind. They share what they're doing, they share what they want, and they interact 24/7. We've covered all of this. So how do we do that as web center owners? Well, number one is to personally brand yourself, right? I really love our product and our service in the university majors because we are internet entrepreneurs. And I feel like that is a really great term that encompasses everything that we do. Take a look at Lauren Reidinger, right? I mean, if there's ever a person in our company or really, I mean, literally in the world, I mean, she's ranked in the world as a social media mogul. She's doing it right. Now listen, she's a fashionista. She's a business owner. She is an entrepreneur. She has created lines of cosmetics, skincare, jewelry, clothing, handbags. I mean, she's done it all, right? So when she's up on her social media, is she writing that she's she's the creator of Just Motives? Is she boxing herself in with Just Motives? Of course she's not. She's an entrepreneur. So, I really highly recommend that if you do specialize in web centers or TLS or whatever, that you still want to choose something that doesn't alienate a big portion of your prospects, right? So I love the term entrepreneur. I love the term internet entrepreneur, and that's what I use. You want to create an online profile for yourself. And if you want to take it a step further, you can create one for your business. I'll show you that. Have a solution to close the deal, meaning have your profile be complete, right? So if you have a website or if you have an email address or some way for people to contact you, make sure you have that. Keep it clean. Be choosy about what you're posting. Choose a great picture. You guys, oh my gosh, I can't even tell you how crazy this is, but I had somebody actually reach out to me and say, "I can't get any website appointments, blah, 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 and I can't find enough." It was like all these complaints. And it was through a private message on Facebook, and the profile picture was of a giant lizard. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, you want people to take you seriously and spend a few $1,000s with you, and your profile picture is a giant lizard? Like, I mean, it's just amazing to me. It's very common sense kind of stuff, but, I feel like we have to say them out loud. Again, you're branding yourself. This is your representative. This represents you and your brand. So, what is your brand? Choose a good profile picture. What are your interests? What do you do? Be yourself, right? Don't be all weird. Don't be me. Don't be Jeremy Fenema. Don't be Dennis Franks. You want to be you. You want to be the best version of yourself, is what I like to say to people. Again, it's not about being fake. It's not about any of that stuff. It's just keeping it positive, and being literally the best possible version of yourself that you can be. All right, social media rules. Number one, be yourself. There's nothing weirder than when you get to your friend's profile and like all of a sudden all they're posting about is like weight loss bands or some weird thing that like they're trying or some crazy whatever. There's nothing weirder than when I get to a Market America distributor's profile and every single post is about isotonics and how you should buy isotonics, or every single post is about the next UBP or whatever. It's weird. Be yourself. If you want to network, then network, right? You want to you want to use this as an opportunity for people to be interested in you and to start conversations. And the way to do that is to be you. Like, you are the only one that can be you, and you're the best at being you. So just be it, right? Talk like yourself. Share things that are indicative of who you are, and just own it, right? Own it, and that's a big deal. No spamming, no mass messaging. This is a big deal, you guys. Especially for people that are just getting started. We'll maybe try to do like a referral campaign every once in a while where I'll say, hey, for every website appointment that ends in a sale, I'm going to go ahead and take $300 or give you $100 referral fee, and I'll do $200 off. So it's like a savings of $300 total and whatever. Like I'll run a referral campaign and I'll reach out to people one on one. What a lot of people do is they make a big mistake and they go, oh, I have 600 friends on Facebook, so I'm going to mass message 600 people and tell them about the referral campaign I'm running for my web center business and see if they'll give me referrals. And you think that you're doing a shortcut, right? You think, I know what the thought process is. It's an innocent mistake. It's people going, I'm going to leverage myself and I'm going to mass message 600 people at once. But what you don't realize is that that is totally obnoxious, right? When you mass message 600 people, first of all, it's completely impersonal. And second of all, every time anybody in that 600 person like list of yours responds, it like sends a notification to your smartphone. And it's just so annoying. So like, what happens? People get annoyed, they get mad at you, and then they leave the conversation and they like block you because they don't want you mass messaging them. I hate when people mass message me. It's not leverage. You have to remember social media is one-to-one marketing. It is word of mouth advertising. It is not an opportunity for you to go, I don't have to work one-on-one anymore. What it is it's a big ocean of candidates and your opportunity to meet them all and not have to just be limited to people that you have cell phone numbers for or people that you see on a day-to-day basis. All right, so no mass messaging. Keep it short, keep it visual and media rich. Things with pictures or links or videos are so much more likely to be commented on or anything. So we're going to talk about good shareable content in a little bit, but just keeping in mind that, this is not your diary. So you don't want to write paragraphs and paragraphs of content about our awesome online website solution. What you want to do is share like a design concept or share like the new email marketing campaign screenshot or just something that's going to generate some interest and get people talking. Way more effective than you writing a soliloquy. Okay? Share stories, word of mouth advertising. So, like every once in a while we'll get like a really awesome email or a letter or something from a client that says, oh my, we just got our website and we just exceeded $100,000 in sales or whatever it is. Like we'll totally share stories like that because again, it starts a conversation. It sparks a thought process. 80-20 for personal profiles. This is like my personal belief. And I don't know. I mean, I know that there are people with different, opinions on this, but the way that I look at it is like this. Lauren Reidinger is a huge, huge. I really look up to her, and I love what she does with her social media presence. Like, not everything is selling the business, but it is, right? In a different way, it is, right? When she's posting lifestyle pictures, it's totally selling the business. When she's posting pictures of the time that she gets to spend with her grandson, it's totally selling the business. When she's, sharing photos of like really cute nail polish or makeup, she's selling the business. But it's just so much more effective than just posting a picture of like, a bottle of nail polish and saying you should buy this nail lacquer. It's awesome, right? There's just a really good way to do it. But 80% of what I post is personal stuff. It's lifestyle stuff. It's stuff that gets people going, what the heck are you doing? You know what I mean? And 20% is business, whether it's for the unfranchised or web centers. I share content that generates interest and calls to action, right? So whenever I do share something that's business related, I always leave it open-ended. And I search and respond. We'll talk about that. Let's talk about Facebook. Facebook is like the grandfather of them all, right? 200 million unique visitors, a billion active users, and average user has 130 friends. 72% of B2C companies acquired customers on Facebook, business to consumer. Okay, so that's like a business selling to the end consumer. 43%, now this is where WebCenters is critical. So keep this statistic in mind. 43% of B2B acquired customers. So what that is a customer that is business to business. That's what we are. WebCenters sells to other businesses. So we are B2B. 43% of B2Bs have acquired customers on Facebook. Keep that in mind. 80% of social media users prefer to connect to their favorite brand using Facebook. Interesting. So let's take a look at personal profiles. Now these are some older screenshots. It's all good. But if you see here, this is mine. I've got a professional picture of myself and my business partner slash husband slash best friend, whatever you want to call him. He's all of the above, Ryan Stack. And this is like a kind of a professional shot of us, right? And then up here, this is a picture of me with my favorite gal friends, and they're dance teachers as well. And we took a really great picture on top of a mountain. And that's that. So you can see here that I'm really branding myself. This is me. I'm a professional woman, and I am a dancer, and I'm athletic, and I live a healthy lifestyle. That's who I am, right? I'm never going to alienate one part of myself, right? These are all the things that I am. So I really, really brand that. And then the things that I post are all there. It's a great profile pic. There's interest. I have a complete profile. It tells you everything that I do, the things that I like, etc. This is Ryan's, the same thing. Like his is a little different than mine. Ryan posts probably more like 60-40, 60% personal, 40% business, but that's how he chooses to run his page, and he's got great results as well. All right. So we're going to talk about creating interest. Okay. So this is a picture that I shared of morning coffee. And actually, when I did it on Instagram, I hashtagged the colors that I used on my nails as well. But just take a look here. So first of all, you get a bunch of likes. That's cool. Good morning, lovely. Enjoy your coffee. P.S. It's nighttime in Australia. I love your nails with the heart. Great. It's P.S. I said, hey Kitty, how are you? How's Australia? P.S. It's Motive's nail lacquer. And then you can't see, but we talked a little bit further, and I helped her to get the colors that I use so she could do that nail thing. So again, what do you think is more effective? Sharing a picture of your nails being done, or sharing a picture of a bottle of nail polish, right? It's pretty obvious stuff. So when it comes to websites, what do you think is more effective? Sharing a beautiful website design that was just recently done by our design center, or sharing a post that says we do websites online solutions, right? You have to use common sense. Visuals make sense, and products make sense. Things that get people excited are completed online, things. So keep that in mind. This is Ryan, 23 hours ago, working at Starbucks with my little man. I love this, right? Now this was done on Monday, right? So this was like a Monday or a Tuesday or something. I can't even remember actually. But whatever the case was, it was in the middle of the day. And a lot of people liked it. And one of the comments, again, I'm sorry that you can't see it. One of the comments was, "What the heck are you doing? Like the vacation is over. Like how are you not at work right now?" It was something like to that effect. And he's like, "Yeah, I work from home." He's like, "What do you do?" Again, ending with an open-ended question. And again, what do you think is more effective? Hey guys, I have an HBP coming up tonight, so if you're looking for money to make extra money part-time, hit me up. Or a picture of you working like in the middle of the day with your butt. You know what I mean? Or a lifestyle picture, or something that's going to generate interest. A picture of you with your partners at that UBP. You know what I mean? Just keep in mind what would actually generate interest and what is just stuff on your page. There's a huge difference. I love this. Sharing stories. Aaron Smith in my team. I'm disbelief. Literally just made $1,200 in 1 week. Woohoo! I can stay at home with my kids and still make good money. All right, look at the comments. What is your secret? Yeah, what are you doing? Go, Aaron. Awesome that we do not have to give up great income for our family. Tell me I'm dying to stay at home. Right? Again, what is more effective? Hit me up for the UBP or this kind of stuff. What about Facebook, personal profiles? All right, so here's the deal. Business pages for your web center can be effective. One of the cool things about doing it this way is that you can share content on this and then share it onto your personal page. So it just kind of connects the dots and shows your personal followers and friends that you are a business owner as well. So there are some great benefits to doing this. I just want to warn you that it does take effort. So if you haven't yet mastered how you're going to brand yourself on your personal page, I highly recommend starting there, really grasping what you're going to do, and sharing stuff directly to your personal page before you go forward and build out a business page for yourself. So, I recommend that you create a logo for yourself. Use a cover photo from maWebCenters Facebook page, or you can create one of your own, and use this as a place to promote your web center business. So, if there's new, like you can see here, I love this design by our design center. Now, notice that I didn't say I love this design that I created. I wrote I love this design by our design center. It's very important to give credit to the appropriate people. Like you cannot plagiarize and say that you've done work that you haven't done. So when you're sharing these things, please keep that in mind. Please be respectful and give credit where credit is due. Now, occasionally, what I would do on my personal page is I would then take this design and share it onto my personal page and just say, check out one of the latest designs that our company's design center has finished. What do you think? Know anybody that needs a better website? Does that make sense, you guys? So I'm sharing a website design on my personal page from my business page so that I'm really just branding myself even more as an entrepreneur and a business owner, and I'm calling to action, right? It's just nice. Brand yourself as professional. I highly recommend sharing as many design center samples as you can, or testimonials, or whatever that you're seeing on maWebCenters Facebook page, Twitter, or blog. That's really a great place to find some good shareable content. Let's move on and talk about Twitter. Average Twitter has 126 followers. 53% of tweets are product recommendations. 39% of marketers have generated leads on Twitter. So we are marketers. Keep that in mind. Personal branding. Again, you want to have complete things. So you take a look here. Really great. I love how I just said that. That's crazy. Anyway, cool, like professional shot of Ryan and I at the gala. And then there's a really great background shot here of a major convention. So Ryan is real big on branding himself as an entrepreneur. He's great at it. I'm really loving it. And then he makes his post here and everything is in alignment. Again, this one's mine. Mine's a little bit different, right? I'm doing the Lauren Ridinger thing. So I have everything on here, my picture, lifestyle picture, all that great stuff. So what do? You want to create interest, share stories, tag people with the @ symbol, hashtag with the #, and retweet things. So here's the cool thing about Twitter, and Facebook has this too now, which is great, and Instagram, and really every social media platform. You can search for people with like interests or like needs by simply just doing a search for, a hashtag or whatever. So if you're looking for people with that are hashtagging horrible website or hashtagging, GoDaddy, for example, you can simply click on, let me show you right here. Up here, search. If you write the word GoDaddy up in the search bar, what's going to happen is anybody in the world that has talked about GoDaddy in their tweet will then populate all of the results below. Now, why is that important? Well, half of those tweets are going to be whatever, probably people promoting GoDaddy, but the other half are going to be what? What is the other thing that people do on social media? They complain. It's going to be, oh my gosh, my website is down. I hate GoDaddy. Oh my gosh, I can't update my website. GoDaddy sucks, or whatever, whatever it is, right, you guys? So it's interesting, like once a week or whatever, we'll totally do that. We'll just do a search for our competitors, whether it's one-on-one or WordPress or GoDaddy, and we'll just scroll through and we'll look for people that are complaining about bad experiences and respond. We'll say something like, I totally hear that, and having a good website is so important. Have you looked into any other options? Right? And I'll just get conversation started. What a great way to meet website prospects, right? Because now you're one step closer, right? Because you're finding people that are having negative experiences elsewhere and you're offering a solution, which is really just some more information. You're not trying to sell them anything on Twitter. You're selling an appointment. You're selling yourself. You're getting a conversation started and you're getting them to commit to an appointment. So hashtags are kind of like a card catalog, right? Anytime that you hashtag something, it brings it all together and it clumps it together so that when people search for anything in that term, those things will populate. Keep that in mind. Pinterest. Pinterest is like online dream boards. It's awesome. It's really fun. A couple of quick things to keep in mind for Pinterest. It's the third most popular social media site behind Twitter and Facebook in the US. It's 60% female. Now, this is really big. Pins without prices are over twice as likely to be repinned than pins with prices. So don't post prices, okay? Average time on Pinterest is about 14.2 minutes. Pinterest is expected to account for 35% of social media-driven purchases. So, what's really cool about WebCenters is it's very, very visual. There's a lot of opportunity to post things and to share designs or concepts or whatever. So there's an opportunity for you to market your web center business on Pinterest. Take a look at my profile. This is my picture, and that's at Fashion Week. Fun times. Again, I'm an entrepreneur. I am not just a web center person. I'm very clear about that on everything that I do. So my profile says artist, entrepreneur, dancer, mother, wife, and friend. That's how I describe myself. Okay, and then so when you get to a profile or whatever, you'll see the profile picture, the name, the a little bit of a description about themselves, and then you're going to see all of the boards that they've created. Now, boards are basically like little books where you can pin things within them. So, for shoe closet, if you click on my shoe closet board, you're going to scroll through a bunch of shoes that I like. If you click on, Dreamworthy Home, you're going to see all of the things I would love to have in my dream home one day. Beautiful clothes, same thing, right? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about what you need to do to actually make this work for your web center business. Number one is to create boards. Don't just pin every random thing on one board. That is really annoying, and that's not going to help with your following. You need to create boards for every little thing. So I think I have like 20 boards, right? And because the reason is I don't want a pair of heels showing up next to a website design. Does that make sense? I want to keep those things separate because I want to be attracting different audiences. If somebody finds one of my website designs that I've shared on my website design board, I want them to see a plethora of website designs. I don't want them to get to that board and go scrolling through and see like really random things like quotes and dream homes and do it yourself things and holiday party ideas. Does that make sense? So organizing this is very important. Now, once you've created a board, the next step is to pin photos to your board. And you can do that by scrolling through and repinning things that you see, or you can, if you download Pinterest onto your computer or whatever, then when you're shopping around or whatever, you can just upload pins directly from other websites, or the same way you would send an email attachment. Next, this is critical, is add links for where to buy. Okay? So you can't just upload a website design and not have your email or not have your web center domain name showing up. That's not going to help you monetize anything, right? That's just going to be someone going, I really like this web design, which is fun. It's great, but how does that help you grow your business? All right. It's a great way to share things that you like and things that you recommend. But remember, you want a call to action. You want to have that link to tie up the knot. So let me show you how to create a board and all that other yummy stuff. Okay. So these are 3 boards that were down a little bit further on my profile. One was do it yourself, another one was events and parties, and the third one was web designs. Okay. So I'm going to show you how you add a pin, or how do you make a pin. You would click on this board, web designs, then you would click browse, and then you would upload whatever website design it is that you wanted to share. So this one happened to be Denise Sabinski Interiors, or DS Interiors. So I upload the picture, and then it asks me, where do you want to share this? Which board? And I chose the web design board. I'm not going to share this on the DIY board. I'm going to share it on the web design board. Now, this is what's important. I updated the text below. Lovely, simple design for an interior designers. www.newrealitywebsolutions.com. That is my web center address. So if somebody were to stumble across this board and they wanted more information, they would click on my website and they would be directed to my web center. Does that make sense? You have to make sure that when you're selling or sharing these designs, that you're doing something that's actually going to help you grow your business. Again, it could be fun, it could be a great hobby. It's really fun. I love Pinterest. Or it could be part of your business plan. Now you can repost, right? So you can repin things to your own board. So if you're scrolling through the timeline and you come across something that's really cool, you can click on this right up here that says repin. And then the same thing, it says, where would you like to repin it? And then mine, I repin this to my hair and makeup board. Okay, so you're going to add links for where to buy. This was repinned from Lauren Ridinger. Oh, there it is on my hair and makeup board. I added my link to my Motives mini website with the phrase, get the look. So I wrote motives.marketamerica.com/new reality to get the look. Why? Because if people want to buy this awesome red lipstick or whatever makeup Amber is wearing in this picture, and they go to my Motives mini website, now I have an opportunity to make a sale. Or at least somebody can comment and ask me a question because they know that I can actually sell them the products that made this very pretty face, right? Same thing is true for website designs. If you get to a website design that you found on my board and you want to repin it, you need to upload it. update the text and the links, right? You don't want to send people to my web center. You want to send them to your web center. So just make sure that when you're sharing it, A, that you're giving credit where it's due. Remember, we want to do that. And B, that you're directing them to a place that's going to help your business. So like, let's say you were going to share this design. The way to do it the right way is to share this design and to say, lovely, simple design for interior designers done by the maWebCenters design team. And then you would put your web center address. Does that make sense, you guys? Just make sure that you're doing things that are smart and actually driving traffic for you. Okay? So, moving on. Instagram. Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with Instagram right now. It's like so much fun. By the way, Facebook now owns Instagram. Keep that in mind. Instagram is picture driven. It's viral. You can upload pictures of things, products, etc. maWebCenters is now on Instagram, which is exciting. So official MAWC is the handle for Instagram, and we are uploading website designs every day that you can share and repost onto your Instagram, your Facebook, your Twitter, or whatever. So make sure you're following them. Again, you want to upload pictures of things, products, etc. to generate interest. Tag people, hashtag pictures create interest. I recently just did my nails all white and with some gold sparkle for like, and I said in honor of the winter blizzard. And it's so funny, like I got so many comments on that, and then Lauren reposted it and Market America did. And it's like, again, apparently I have an obsession with nail polish. I don't know if you can tell by looking at this, but I use this mostly to prospect for my unfranchise, as you can tell by the things that I'm posting. But you want to find something and brand your own self, right? So whatever it is, if you're going to repost web designs, or if you're going to post lifestyle pictures, whatever it is, decide what your purpose and your goal is behind using Instagram, and make sure that the things that you're posting are supporting that goal. LinkedIn, be great at what you do. Yay. LinkedIn is a professional networking site. There's so many of them. There's Meetup. There's all these great opportunities to network professionally online. What's really great about LinkedIn is that, you don't have to do the whole social thing, right? I mean, it's great to socialize on LinkedIn, but in reality, everybody that's on LinkedIn they have an expectation to talk about business, right? Or to talk about job opportunities or business opportunities and a network. So, there's nothing weird about it. You can get right to the point. You can ask questions. You get to know people. How can you help them? How can they help you? And it's all great, right? So I highly recommend using and interacting on LinkedIn. Make sure, again, this is professional branding. So make sure that you're actually including the things that you specialize in, and a great profile picture, and etc. You want to endorse other people and let them to endorse you. So, I've been endorsed for everything from social media marketing to online advertising, online marketing, website design, website development, social media, social networking, all kinds of stuff, SEO. Now, do I personally do all of those things? No. I guess I do, but I mean, I don't physically handle the labor for all these things, but you have to remember that whether you have that skill set or not, your team does. maWebCenters does have that skill set, right? So we do have experts in SEO and social media and online advertising and website development and graphic design and all of these really great things. So if you're looking to market your web center business on LinkedIn, you don't have to just limit your skills to what you can personally do, because you're bigger than that. You're bigger than just yourself when you're a web center owner, right? Essentially, everybody at maWebCenters works for you, right? And they're part of your team. They are part of your skill set. So I highly recommend that whether you personally feel like you're a social media expert, guru, or not, that you include that. Because you know what? People that are on LinkedIn that are looking for social media experts or web development experts or marketing experts or SEO experts, they will stumble across your profile and engage in conversations with you, but only if you include those things as things that you specialize in. So just keep that in mind when you're socializing and networking on LinkedIn. All right. Blogs, professional branding for blogs. Okay. So the stackgrp.com is my personal website. It is a distributor recruiter website, which I'll talk about in a second. But one of the things that we do on our personal website is we import our blogs. So our blogs are actually done on WordPress, because I think WordPress is an excellent blogging tool. And our website is built on our DRS platform, our distributor recruiting site platform. Our blogs automatically upload into our websites. So whenever we blog about anything, Ryan and I have separate blogs, and again, we personally brand ourselves very differently because we're different people. But we always call to action at the end. So if we're writing something about social media marketing, guess what? We're either sending them to our personal website for whatever reason, or we're sending them to our web center. If we're writing something about here, like this particular blog, which is from a long time ago. This is a great screenshot. Wealthy inequality in America video, what this really means. And it's a video and a short little blurb about, that kind of is the cliff notes of this thing. At the very end, it sends people to our DRS. So why is that important? Well, now obviously the blog is already auto importing here, but what about people that just go to our blog directly? Like, what do we want them to do? Do we want to just be free authors that give free content and then that's it? Or do we want to monetize that? If you're going to blog about online marketing or social media or whatever, do you want that to just be really great, like, public service that you do where you just give out free information? Or do you want to use that to generate interest, to establish yourself as a professional and call to action and send people to your web center, right? You have to just keep this in mind. Again, you can use any of the tools that we've talked about for fun, or you can use them for fun and make money. It's that second step that you have to keep in mind. So keep this in mind. Professional branding for web centers. Take this out. New reality web solutions, online solutions, tips, and marketing strategies. This is my new reality web solutions blog. Like, I have my personal blog, which is me as an entrepreneur, and then we have our web center blog. So I shared a design here, and I shared a little short, like, kudos blog to our designers, and at the end I send them to my web center. uh, this is a little thing about SEO, and this is another thing: build community and loyalty for your brand by blah 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 blah. And it's always like short little things that I found that I rewrite in my own way, or things that I found on maWebCenters blog that I share. And again, I give credit where credit is due. I don't plagiarize on my blog, but you get ideas from all kinds of places. And again, I'm just establishing myself as an industry professional here, and I'm driving traffic to my web center. So you can choose to do this. Is it essential? No. I mean, it's always going to come down to one-to-one when it comes to web centers. You're going to be qualifying prospects and setting appointments, but these are just little things that you can do to generate interest and to brand yourself. So what should you post? Personal profiles. This is a recap. Complete your profile. Nice pictures. 80-20 rule. 80% personal lifestyle, 20% business. Exciting news. Shareable content from our websites, right? Media-rich content, which generates interest. Responses to other people's posts. Okay? Business profiles. A complete profile. A logo. Content to establish you as a professional. Exciting news, shareable content, media rich content, responses to other people's posts. And every once in a while, you'll share things from here to here, keeping that in mind. All right. Shareable content. Where do you go? What should you share? Design, statistics, articles, testimonials, articles, anything, links, videos, anything that you find on maWebCenters social media platforms. I highly recommend that you use that and share them on your own. Again, you want to do the 80-20 rule. You don't want to plaster your wall with maWebCenters shareable stuff. But keep in mind this: we've redone our entire online marketing strategy for maWebCenters in the past quarter, where every single thing that we post on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram is going to be aimed at a potential client. It will not support prospecting and recruiting. We're not going to talk about webinars. We're not going to talk about building your web center business. It's all going to be customer-centric materials, and here's why. We want web center owners to share designs from maWebCenters Facebook page all the time. Right? We want you guys sharing those designs and generating interest. And so what happens when a potential client likes that page or that picture that you've shared from maWebCenters? Well, they'll go back to maWebCenters Facebook page, and we want them to see more designs, more customer aimed materials. So, anything that you find on our platforms, you can share for yourself. Share it on your personal profile or your business. Make the content relevant to you. So when you do share a design from maWebCenters Facebook, make sure that you say, oh my gosh, love this new design by our designers. Know anybody that needs a better website, and then your website link, or get people to talk to you about it. You don't want to just send people to maWebCenters. Obviously, we haven't had that be an issue. But just again, you just want to make sure that you're making it relevant for yourself. So take a peek. This is our Facebook page. Lots of pictures of designs that you can share. Real simple stuff. All you do is you share the design to your Facebook page, whether it's your personal or your business, and you say something like what I just said. If you're specializing in web centers, you would say, well, take a look at this design by our design center. Do you know anybody that could benefit from a better website? You like how I ended with a question, right? Or if you're doing simple sales, right? Let's say you don't specialize in web centers, you can still share designs. What you would say is the company I work with has an entire division that helps businesses leverage the internet. What do you think of this design? Right? Get people talking. Whoa, wow, that sounds really awesome. Do you think you could hook me up? Do you know anybody? Like, can you have someone call me or whatever? There's lots of things that can happen from this. Just again, remember when you post these things, you make it relevant to you, organic to who you are, because everything, that's the golden rule, right, on social media needs to be in alignment with what you are. Tips for sharing design concepts as a first look. Be consistent with your approach. Edify the design center. End in a question and call to action. You can also share these designs with specific people. Use more of a one-on-one approach. So for example, if you know a contract, you can share a design with them in a private message or on their timeline or whatever, right? It comes down to this is a one-on-one business, and like I said, I've said it like 4 times already, but social media is not the shortcut in that you don't have to be one-on-one anymore. What it is it's just more numbers to work with. masamples.com also has a ton of designs that you can share to your hard drive and upload to your page. So if you are looking for more designs than what are on our Facebook page, you can go there. Instagram, like I said, our handle is at official MAWC. You can also go to maWebCenters.com and find some really great content there. We also have a blog. Now, keeping in mind that not every single blog here is something that you would actually want to share. You might want to get some ideas from these blogs for content to share there. Other things. Before you share a link to an article, whether it's in Market America or maWebCenters or an outsourced article, please make sure you read the article first. There are some great articles that are resources that you have. blog.marketamerica.com, our Facebook /Market America, maWebCenters.com, masamples, shop.com. JR and Lauren have excellent blogs. They're also on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, everything. Some of my favorites are success.com, grantcardone.com, websitemagazine.com, CNN. These are just established places where you can get some really, really cool content, right? But you have to read the articles before you share them because you don't want to be promoting other brands by accident, especially with things like websitemagazine.com, right? If you see a really cool article on something that would just help support your position instead of web center appointment, that's great. But what you don't want to do is share an article from websitemagazine.com that has a great article, but in the end is really promoting some other website company. We don't want to do that. That doesn't do you any good. So if you find a great article like that and they are promoting another company, I highly recommend that you don't share it, but rather that you either write your own blog that kind of encompasses the same idea, or you just share some of the pointers that you read as a status update. All right, so reading the articles before you share is a must. Keep that in mind. It's the beginning. You must still set appointments for website sales to show the plan, etc. You need to create customers for shop.com, and you need to remember that everything that I talked about today is not meant to replace talking to prospects. You guys, I hope that this has been helpful for you. I know it's been a ton of information, so I'm going to skip through this part because this is not important. I just want to give you a quick recap here. Create a personal profile: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, and blog. Right? You can do all of these, or you could start with Facebook. If you had to pick one, I would start with Facebook. It's the easiest one, and it's the one that your candidates are on for sure. And LinkedIn is really great too. You can create a business profile for yourself for Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest. Have complete profiles, personal and professional branding. Share content that generates interest. Search for people and offer a solution. Respond to posts by other people, friends, and hashtags, etc. You can leverage having your own personal website to maximize your follow-up for prospecting and recruiting. Or if it's a website candidate that you're talking to, remember to share the link to your web center or to share a contact information for yourself so that you can set appointments. So guys, thank you so much. I hope that you're going to incorporate social media into your business strategy for your web center business in 2014, because if you do it the right way, it can be a gold mine. It can be so much more than just a hobby. Thank you so much, and we will see you next week.